Hello everyone and welcome to this week's game development log video diary, and for the last couple of weeks I've been finishing off my work on the GUIs. So we'll start off with one of the bigger new features that I added, which is an editable text field. This now finally allows you to rename your save slots, and I also implemented it in the entity info GUI so that you can customize the names of your animals if you want to. The next thing that I worked on was a custom cursor, and I had done this before, but previously I'd just been rendering a textured quad in the position of the mouse cursor, and that made the mouse feel rather sluggish and unresponsive if the frame rate wasn't high enough. So this week I instead did it by actually changing the image of the native cursor, and that feels a lot nicer to use. I also created a few different cursor icons so that the cursor can look different in different situations. So for example here you can see that the cursor changes to indicate that you can move this preview around with the mouse. Next up, I had yet another go at redoing the main menu, and this time I used a design that was actually sent in to me, and I thought it looked really good, so I had to go at implementing it. One thing I can't decide on though is whether the DNA should go all the way up on the left, or whether it should be like this instead and just fade out, or maybe go all the way up and fade out, so let me know what you guys think if you have any preferences. Another new feature that I added in this week was the Commands tab in the Entity Info GUI. This tab will contain buttons which allow you to give some orders to an entity in order to change its behaviour in some way. To give the order, you just have to click on the relevant button, and as you can see, some orders will have a cooldown period so that you can't use them too often. I haven't really implemented many orders yet, but this is definitely something that I'll be making good use of when I start adding in all the creatures and the plants, and it means that I can have things like creatures with special abilities that you can activate whenever you want. At the moment though, it does at least provide a way to remove entities from the world, which wasn't possible before. The final big GUI feature that I worked on this week was a colour selecting GUI, and you can see that here. If you remember from a previous video, the entities have a traits tab which allows you to modify the traits of an entity's offspring in return for DP, but you were never able to alter the colour trait of the entity. So that's what this colour selector is going to be used for. I haven't quite got it connected up with the traits tab just yet, but when I have, it will allow you to choose a desired colour for the entity's offspring, and of course it will cost a certain amount of DP depending on the colour you choose. Finally this week I've spent a lot of time just generally tidying up and polishing off the GUIs. So for example, I added a slight gradient to the icon backgrounds, which I think gives them a bit more depth and just generally makes them look a bit nicer. Newly unlocked items in the shops now pulse continuously until you mouse over them in order to attract your attention. The biome picker GUI now closes automatically when you click anywhere, and I've also been rescaling and realigning the components of many of the GUIs just to try and make it all look a little bit tidier and more professional. So that is going to be it for this week, but next week I am very excited because I'm finally going to be getting started on adding all the content into the game, all the creatures, all the plants, all the different behaviours, the tasks and all the bonus items, and I'm going to be doing that for at least the rest of this month and probably some of next month as well. I just need to give a shout out to the top Patreon supporters before I finish, so a huge thank you this month to Michael Waitman, Crazy Rusky, Danny D, Jerry Bradshaw and Benjamin Fuller, and of course a big thank you to everyone else who's supporting me on Patreon as well. If you'd like to see some more updates about Equilinox during the week, then you can check out my social media pages. I'm trying to post updates a bit more regularly on them now, and all the links for that are in the description below. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching this video. Do subscribe if you haven't already. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you all next time.